voting, you have decided to partner with ANAP Foundation, and you're going to be going around, I believe, to get more and more people to get their voters card. I'm wondering, I believe you've started already. In the places where you have been to, have people spoken to you about the challenges? Why it's been very difficult for them to be able to get their voters card, or why they seem disinterested in politics?
So let me just, before I go on to that, I think one of the things we have to, in this country, is that we need to take ownership. A senator stood on the floor in front of cameras, and he made a decision. He made his stance known. So he's ready to be called. And we would mention his name. Oh. And that if he does good, we will also mention his name. It is what it is, and he has been in the history, the history books. In terms of registration, a lot of people are tired. A lot of Nigerians are disillusioned, especially now where people believed, in 2015, people believed that there was going to be change, and that change never happened. And so many people feel, what really are we going out for? What really are we voting for? And so a lot of people just seem not to be interested. And then there are also some people who, for them, they do not understand the relationship between governance and their lives. And so you have a situation whereby somebody, a woman, for example, let me take a woman, for example, who says ice fish. She has suffered and she has sent her child through school, secondary school, primary, secondary, university. The child is out and then there's no job. And then guess what? The religious slave owners that we have, I don't call them religious leaders, they are telling her that, oh, the reason why her child doesn't have a job is because of enemies. It's because of village people. It's because somebody is holding down that they should be praised, principalities and powers. Nobody is telling her that. It's because the government that you have, there's no expansion in the economy. There's contraction. And so because of that, people are losing jobs. And your child isn't getting. There's no, development that you're looking for. So she's not able to put them and draw the connection and connect the dots and say, oh, the reason why my child is because of this bad governance, so I need to get in good people with competence, character, and capacity that will be able to do this. So we have that disconnection. So people do not understand that relationship between governance and their lives. So these are some of the things that people need to get. And then, of course, it's hard voting, especially with the younger people. They want to do things. They are used to things being done. Before that, we'll be using firewood. Before you warm food in the morning, I remember growing up, you have to use firewood, put it on, everything. Now they have microwave. In minutes, it's done. Everything of that is in minutes. And then you have this whole process where you have to go through the process of registering. For some of them, it's just like waste of time. But luckily, we have, online, what ANAP has started right now, so which is making it a whole lot easier.
The process is less cumbersome.
Yeah, it's less cumbersome, but it is still not as easy as it should be. For example, when my son registered here in Nigeria, when he was 19 when he did that.
I can trust that your entire family will be registered.
Yeah, of course they are. My son, but what he said was like, but mommy, why is this difficult? Because he said for his colleagues in UK that it got sent to them. And they were called, they had to register, they didn't go through this. He spent like 9 hours on the queue when he registered. So these are the things. If it could be made easier for them, yeah, they could easily do it. It's not supposed to be this like rocket science. And there's also a need for it to not just be one-off thing. Let it be a continuous. The day I turn 18, I should be able to walk into INEC office and register and get my PVC. And that's so it's something that should be going all year round seamlessly, everyone. So it's not a big cumbersome. But the thing is that there's also hope. There's also that, a lot of young people now are more interested in politics. They've seen, after NSAS, I think a good number of them realize that, oh, indeed, governance means everything. You can just be minding your business, and government policies will just come and affect you where you are. You can be minding your business, and then government policies will just pull the rug off you. And even when you're making demands, you will not be heard because of what the kind of people that you already have in government. So a good number of them are really interested and they're getting that PVC. But we are calling on everybody. And when we're talking about everybody, it means really everybody, the youth, whether the ones that we sometimes refer to as talks and all of that. We need to have everybody on board on Project Nigeria. And that's what ANAP is all about, ensuring that most especially young people realize the power that they have. Because every country that we have, it's always driven by the young people. You know, they are idealistic, they have time, they are not sort of like weighed down by life and responsibilities like when you get older. And so they have the passion, they have the energy for them to do. And especially, you know, the Nigerians, they have intelligence, they have technology, they have creativity. We've seen what they did with Enmasse. Imagine if you bring all of that awesomeness into governance, the kind of things that we have in Nigeria. In no time, our story we easily change. But so what we need to do is to ensure that we are participating in the political process, and that's what we are calling on young people to come out and register.
I find it interesting that you are appealing to the young demographic. I'm going to let my colleague come in very soon before he calls me after this program. But you know, I find it interesting that you are appealing to a demographic of young people, even though you didn't exactly start your activity. You know, you didn't exactly start activating your office of the citizen at a youthful age. Why is it difficult to appeal to, say, the demographic which you currently belong to?
Okay, so it's about the 80-20 rule. So right now we have the youth demographic. They are the one, they have the largest number. And if you really want to make that shift that we need in Nigeria, that positive shift in terms of politically, we need to look at that demography. And they have the capacity to get a lot of things done. So it's like the low-hanging fruit. And so if you're in anything that one is, you have to be pragmatic, and then you have to look for what is that thing that will work best. For me, in terms of active citizen, I started, my first protest was actually in 1992. I was, how old was I then? I think about 17, 18. Because of I was born December, so it's always sometimes difficult to calculate these things, so annoying. And so I was like, I was in the university. And I remember when I was going, my parents were like, yeah, we know you. Don't go there and go and protest. I was like, no, I won't protest there. Of course, when I got there, the first protest, I was there and the school was shut down. So for me, that active, but the thing is that because I grew up poor, I needed a place where, and if you're poor in Nigeria, you're nameless, faceless, and voiceless. And I needed to be able to have that financial independence for me to even have a voice. And so I do realize the fact that there's quite a number of people and I tell people that don't have the luxury of, you know, believing in Nigeria. They don't have the luxury of saying, let's go and be active citizens. Because why? They're trying to survive every day. For them, going out and earning a living and being able to put food on the table is actually their way of being active citizens. For them, that's their protest. That's their demand for good God. That's their everything. That's the only thing they can do. So I understand that part. And for me, it took me, I became an active citizen after I turned 40. And I realized that, and that was 8 years ago, and I realized that I had become the problem of Nigeria. So I have an understanding of, you know, there are some people who, there's a demography right now who, for them, they do not have that luxury to be able to focus on that. But also, we have the middle class in Nigeria, the missing elite. They are nowhere to be found. Because they think sort of like, oh, they're in their cocoon and they are okay. And, you know, they can, if there's no electricity, they get their journey. If there's no water, borehole, no good quality education, they send their children abroad and do all sorts of things. And so they think they are immune from the bad governance that we have in our country. But right now, with the issue of insecurity, every one of us is realizing that we are not immune. We are all in this, and we are affected by the policies that are made by government, because even while you're doing your business, government policies will also come and affect you.
Well, Ayo.
Well, thank you, Markwe. I'm going to make this brief, and I don't know how much time because we're running out of time already, madam, but just one question for you. You know how seriously the trust quotient between young people and government at whatever level, federal, state, local, has become over the years. So I'm wondering, what would be your recommendation of an impetus, of a motivation, of the catch? why young people should do what you're asking them to do. It is a good thing to do. It's the civic right. But then the trust quotient has gone so low that as far as many people are concerned, when it has to do with government, they don't want to have anything to do with it. So how do we persuade people? How do we bridge that trust gap?
Oh, okay, so when we're talking about the trust issue, it's not just even with the government. There's also a gap between parents and the youth. Because one of the things I always say to people is that the first set of dictators that most Nigerians came across were actually parents. And so you were not allowed to have a voice, you were not allowed to do anything. There's no democracy in our houses. And so people grow up, expecting that, oh, okay, when government is doing a lot of things on them, oh, that's the norm because they're used to it, the adults around them did it, the teachers did it and all of that. So yes, there's even amongst the older generation and the younger generation, there's a huge divide. But I think with what we saw before 2020, I would have said to you, it's going to be difficult. But after October 2020, and the youth did see how having the wrong kind of people in government, what it can do to the lives of citizens. So a lot of them have that incentive for them to begin to, and they're already taking their own initiative to say, we want to be part of governance. We want to vote for, we want to be voted for. And so for me, the incentive for them is that, look, if you do nothing, you have more years to be in this Nigeria. I'm 48 years old. I know our NAFTAC number, we're needing renewal. For a lot of young people, you're just starting life. And even if, yes, now people are talking about Japa, not everybody can Japa. People have been Japaing since 1960s, but yet, not because the world cannot take all of us. Some people have to be left here. So it is important for us to work, for you to work for this nation that you want, and you can't get it. And the youth have seen that they have what it takes. Like I said earlier, they are intelligent, they have creativity, they have social media, they have technology, they have crowdfunding capacity, and they have organizational skills. And if they deploy it to politics, they can actually make that difference. And they have a whole world view where there are so many things that can be done and they can do it. And one of the things is that, ironically, I was saying to was it my husband, I said, look, in the days where the older generation were needed in governance, Africa actually had youth. Now that you find that more of younger generation, and we are still having the old people who were there as young people. So it is time now for the young people to just come together and begin to ensure that the right people get into power. And when we're talking about the right people, it's not about religion, it's not about tribe, it's not about gender, it's not about age. It's ensuring that people with competence, character, capacity, people who have courage, people who are patriotic, people who believe in Nigeria, people who know that there is a word that is out there and we're lagging behind, and we need to catch up fast and have them in office. At the end of the day, we'll all have the country that we're waiting for, that we're looking for, and not just relying on praying. Because right now what you have, a lot of people are sitting down, they're praying to God to fix Nigeria. You're telling somebody and the person is saying to you, oh, nothing can happen. The only thing that can happen in Nigeria is prayers. And then a few minutes later, you get a text message. The person is asking for help and you're wondering, why didn't you just pray and not send text? Why did you pray and act upon it? The same way we need to pray for Nigeria also, we need to act upon getting a good nation that will be beneficial to all of us, where the child of nobody can become somebody without knowing anybody.
I know that phrase. I've heard it so many times. Thank you for constantly reminding us of that. And we've been speaking with Aisha Yusufu, who is an active Nigerian citizen. Well, we know how active you've been. Thank you so much for coming on Sunrise this morning.